All right, so now we're gonna cover the pistol disarm section, and before we get into the techniques, we really need to cover the fundamentals. And that's just to make sure that you do this in a safe manner and that you're really setting the foundation for the rest of the training that you're gonna do. So first, we really need to look at the safety briefing. What you want to always practice is that you have a non-live firearm, and that basically means that you have a firearm similar to this here that's going to be polymer plastic, is dedicated for training, and there's going to be no instance that you can actually harm or shoot someone else or yourself. So that's really important, that you're not just unloading a firearm that you have in a closet or in the back room and that they're doing that, because there's too much room for error. So number two, you have to respect the weapon or the training pistol at all times and treat it as if it's a real firearm. And you know, that kind of seems counterintuitive, number one, since we're using a training pistol, but we want to build all the same habits so that when you're picking up anything and it's in your hand and you have your finger in a trigger guard and it's a weapon, that you're building all those same habits so you're always acting in a safe and intelligent manner. So no horseplay, keeping it pointed in a safe direction at all times, and just be serious and respect it if it's a real gun. And the last thing I want to talk about is training mindset. So, you know, it goes along with everything that we're already doing. You have to realize the seriousness and the lethality of what you're doing and what you're using. In reality, if you're going to take a pistol away from somebody and they have their finger on the trigger, it's just this motion right here, and that could be the end of your life, you know? So you have to take that in perspective and really seek out training partners and people that you work with that are going to have that same philosophy and mindset. So the safety, respected at all times, and training mindset is critical and the fundamental steps when you're looking at pistol disarms. So now we're going to cover the technical fundamentals, or the biomechanical, or what you're going to do with your body when it comes to disarming a pistol. And I have 6 major points that I want to talk to you about. Although there's more, these are really what's important for you as a beginner and to really get the foundational work under your belt. So number one, we're going to be looking at a single pistol to the face. All right, so Charles, you can demo the single pistol to the face. All right, and some of you might be wondering, why are we doing this? Why aren't they holding with 2 hands? All right, you can put that down, thank you. The most probable encounters is what we like to train for, and then we can also add all the variants. But from live documented surveillance footage of crime, sexual assaults, it's a very common thing to see the one arm out. They've also found in force-on-force training that a lot of times, they say over 80%, from the schools that I train with, that they end up firing with a single hand as well. So we're looking at the single hand pistol because it's the most probable and likely. Also, we're looking at the right hand. Most people are right-handed, so also again, in the most probable context is why we're picking this as the first one to show you. Again, it could be the left hand, it could have 2 guns. There's many things that could come into play. All right, so the second point, and this has to do more with why haven't they shot you yet, okay? This is going to be why you can actually disarm a pistol, because if he pulls the pistol at me, all right, and I'm not shot or dead yet, there's a reason for that, and yet is a big point, okay? If he points that at me and I'm not shot yet, that's because he needs something from me. Maybe I'm going to give him my wallet, or if it's a sexual assault, he's going to grab me, try and take me or get me in the car or something like that. So there is an advantage for you and as a defender in that if you see the gun presented to you and it hasn't been fired yet, that you have an opportunity to disarm it, okay? So the third point I want to talk to you about is submissive posture. And obviously, if you do encounter this, you are going to be scared, you're going to be frightened, but we have to really, if we're going to disarm the weapon, we have to really play that part and show the posture, okay? So how we really do that with the body is the hands, the palms. Showing the palms is generally a sign of weakness and submission. So we're going to be showing the palms, shoulders are going to come up. I like to cower a little bit forward and look down at the ground, okay? So this is going to be your submissive posture. So if he presents the gun to me, I'm not expecting it, I see it, I can just Posture, hey, please don't hurt me, and I'm looking down at the ground. And why I look at the ground, I mean, I could be looking at the camera and still know where the pistol is going to be. I look at the ground because I don't want to give away my intent with my eyes that I'm going to act, all right? So number 4, talking to your attacker, and you will probably hear this in a lot of self-defense classes. If I speak to him and say, look, I have kids in a family, I have all these credit cards, please don't hurt me, he's processing what I'm saying. So, you know, that is going to be buying me time, and the best time to act when you're actually going to explode into your disarm is while you're speaking to them and their mind is having to comprehend what you're saying. You're also throwing a wrench in the OODA loop, the decision-making. You know, he said, I'm going to attack this person, I'm going to put the gun in his face, I'm going to get what I want, I'm going to leave. And now you start talking to him, and he has to adjust to what you're saying, and that's going to buy you critical reaction time. Number 5. Hand position versus the gun and attacker's body. So I actually want to kind of get this, so Charles, we're going to be here facing this way and put that gun right into the camera, okay? So if you see this, when we're reaching for the weapon, I don't ever want to have my hands above this level, because if my hands are up and then I'm going to grab at the weapon, his eyes are going to be sighting down the weapon here, so he's going to see my hands moving like that. As well, I don't want my hands out. You see the traditional holding your hands up like this. I don't want my hands outside and then going for the weapon as well, because it's giving too much space and distance for him to see. All right, so now let's get oriented like this again. All right, so when the pistol is up and presented at you, we're going to have that posture, and my hand is never going to go above here. And if you imagine I have 2 lines drawn up the side of my body here, my hands are not going to go outside. So my hands are inside of the parallel, and if the gun is a little bit lower, my hands are not going to come up to this point. We're going to do the disarm before we get above that point there, okay? And the last thing I want to talk to you about is, I call it the fastball changeup principle. And so if anybody watches baseball, you know that as a pitcher, if you're going to throw a fastball, you have a certain mechanic, bang, you whip that in there 98 miles an hour. You throw a changeup, you don't change the body mechanics of how you throw the ball. You put more contact surface on the ball, you throw it, and it's 20 miles an hour less. We want to incorporate the same thing with the pistol, in that all of our actions are slow and submissive, and then when we decide that we're going to act on that, we're slow, submissive, bang, and then we're here, and then we're controlling the weapon quickly. So I want you to think about slow, baiting them, letting them think that you're submissive, and then it's the fastest, most explosive, energy-producing movement that you'll have in your body, and it has to be precise and pinpoint. So those are the 6 most important technical biomechanical fundamentals for pistol disarming.